Welcome back. Walls of mold, layers of mud, extensive water damage. That's the destruction left behind after a water main break sent 400,000 gallons of water into a Chanhassen family's home, kicking Allison and Dan Kelly out of their place for nearly a month. Now the family's in a pretty dire situation, as neither Kelly's insurance company nor the city is saying they're going to pay for damages. How this might have happened? Here's Joe McCoy.
A notebook of something.
Allison Kelly is standing in the guest bedroom of her home.
Nancy Drew book.
Seeing what still remains on top of the mud-covered basement floor.
Yeah, it's a little surreal. It's a little surreal.
She has owned this home in Chanhassen with her husband Dan for the past 9 years.
It's better, but I haven't been here for a couple of days.
What happened the morning of August 9th, however, has kicked them out.
I looked out the window on our deck to find just a never-ending stream of water pouring down the hill.
A water main broke roughly 100 feet up the hill from their house. The perimeter of their home turned into a moat. Their basement turned into a swimming pool.
Water was pouring in through every single window, and we couldn't figure out where it was coming from and why is there water rushing into our house.
With the water came the mud that coated everything in their basement.
This was our family room. Pool table, we had lovely built-ins over there with a little game table. You can see the hole where the plywood is. That's the window that failed, and that's where the majority of the actual mud like this came pouring in.
For some perspective, I'm 6'3". The water in the basement was over 5 feet deep. And now all the walls are covered in mold.
This bed was lodged in the wall right here, so it was actually floating.
Their daughter was days away from leaving for her senior year of college.
Her computer, her iPad, her AirPods, her, all of the things. She was starting to buy all of her toiletries, all of that, the towels, every single thing had to be replaced.
A company is in the process of removing everything, including the drywall, from the basement. However, the Kelly's insurance company nor the city of Chanhassen will pay for any of the damage.
This is their equipment that failed. This is their water infrastructure that failed because of no fault of our own or anybody that lives in this neighborhood.
The city says they were not negligent and had no prior knowledge of any defect in the water line. And the Kelly's home insurance policy does not cover surface water runoff.
You have insurance. You pay a lot of money every year thinking that your home is going to be covered in one way or another. And there's nothing. There's nothing there. They find reasons not to help you.
Wow. In a statement to KARE 11, the city of Chanhassen says they don't take lightly the impact this has had on the Kellys, but they went on to say, quote, under state law, cities are only responsible for damages when negligence can be shown. And in this case, the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust investigation found that standard was not met. Probably not the end of that story. Well, since the shooting at Annunciation Church and School, the community has certainly come together to support the victims, survivors, families, and everyone else. And that includes nearby businesses like Kowalski's and Max Fish and Chips, donating everything they have in terms of food from their spaces. Heidi has more on how a local artist is helping out as well.
Driving by, you might miss him, but capturing every detail is the artist, Kickley.
I'm trying to be as small as possible here.
Kickley has always leaned on his art. It's taken him around the world and back to Minnesota, where he started live painting, everything from the state fair to sporting events.
From there, it just took off, and I started painting the Twins, and then the Vikings hired me, and I got to the point where I was exhausted.
Kickley decided to return to the studio until now.
Last week, a bunch of people started calling me during the day, seeing if my kids were okay, because my kids go to a Christian school.
Not his kids' school, but Annunciation, where a shooter killed 2 children and injured 21 others.
I think everyone feels the same way. They're shocked and trying to make sense of something that you can't make sense of.
Kickley's friends' kids go here.
Can I do anything to help? He said, well, just go. Could you please just go and do a painting of the front of the church?
That oil painting has turned into multiple pieces outside the church.
Every painting that I do is being donated to the school so they can run auction them off to raise as much money as possible. So
While Kickley tries to blend into the background, his art
Nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you.
brings visitors to him,
Thanks for stopping by.
leaning on his art and each other.
Doing this has made me feel like I'm doing something, so that gives me hope, helps me move forward.
In Minneapolis,
I think that might be good.
So many examples of doing something. Well, today, the 37th annual Taste of Greece is going on this afternoon through Sunday at St. Mary's Greek Orthodox Church in South Minneapolis. It's free to attend. This year's festival is also going to have a blood drive and a fundraiser for the Annunciation Hope and Healing Fund. If you want to check out how you could help out, go to our website at KARE11.com. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.